everyone, my name is Allison Grosz. I'm an attorney and a partner with Hemrick O'Malley, PLLC in New York City. Today I want to continue along the same series of acquisition and derivative citizenships. And specifically today I want to talk about the automatic acquisition of citizenship of a child after they were born. As you recall in my last video, I talked about the automatic acquisition of citizenship of a child at the time of birth based on different criteria and circumstances. I do want to say for last video that I made, as well as for this video, that there is an element that needs to be considered, and of course an immigration attorney needs to be consulted for the complexity of whether a child is born in wedlock or out of wedlock, meaning the parents are married at the time the child is born, or the parents are not married at the time the child is born, and whether or not the qualifying U.S. citizen or national parent is the mother or the father. With that being said, I highly recommend in all of these matters to seek out a qualified immigration attorney to advise appropriately. So today, let's continue on with this series talking about how a child would derive citizenship from their parent after they are born if it's not automatic at the time of birth, as we talked about in the last video. Generally speaking, a person needs to meet 4 different qualifying criteria under the Immigration and Nationality Act, and it's important to keep in mind that these 4 qualifying criteria to acquire citizenship after birth don't have to be met in these 4 criteria order that I'm going to list them in, meaning that all 4 criteria can happen at any point in time if a person meets these criteria anytime after February 27th, 2001. That is when this regulation takes effect, meaning if you meet all of this criteria prior to February 27th, 2001, then different requirements need to be met that we will not talk about today because this really is the current regulation as it stands for acquiring citizenship after birth. So the first criteria is that the child is a child of a parent who is a U.S. citizen either through birth or through naturalization, that the child is under 18 at the time and unmarried under 18 years old. Another criteria is that the child is a legal permanent resident of the United States, meaning a green card holder of the United States, and we're going to talk about this in just a second. The last criteria that needs to be met to acquire citizenship after birth is that the child is residing in the United States with the qualifying parent at any given time. Now, like I said, all 4 of these criteria need to be met at any given time. They don't necessarily all have to happen at exactly the same time, and they don't have to happen in the order that I just listed them. Let's talk about the confusing element of the child of the U.S. citizen needing to be a legal permanent resident. Now remember, we are talking about children who are born abroad, meaning born outside of the United States. If they do not automatically acquire citizenship at the time of birth because of their parent's citizenship status, the only other way that they can acquire the citizenship then, because their parents don't qualify to give them automatic citizenship at birth, would be for them to locate to live inside of the United States. So for instance, if you are living with your parents abroad and one of your parents is a U.S. citizen and your other parent is not a U.S. citizen but is a non-resident alien, meaning not in the United States and no legal status in the United States, well, if you want to acquire citizenship after birth because let's say your U.S. citizen parent doesn't have the residence requirement that we talked about in my last video, well, then you are going to have to come to the United States as an immigrant visa holder, meaning a legal permanent resident or green card holder, in order to be able to acquire your citizenship from your citizen parent after birth. So I know that's a little complex. Let's recap. You need to be unmarried and under the age of 18. You, of course, need to be the child or adopted child of a U.S. citizen parent. You need to be a legal permanent resident in the United States, meaning you have to have entered with an immigrant visa or have an immigrant visa here inside of the United States, which is just another way of saying a green card. And you must be physically in the custody and residing with your parent. With that being said, I understand this is, again, a very complex matter that we here at Hemrick O'Malley, PLLC, are happy to answer any questions about. You can contact us about this matter or about any other immigration matters, and we're happy to hear from you. You can find us online at hemrick.law, or you can call us at 833-848-7838. And until next time, I look forward to talking to everyone again soon.